The time is uncertain, but this uncertainty is at the heart of human creativity. Good evening to one and all present here. Raja sir, please I would like to...
Thank you.
Good evening to one and all present here. I, Annie Widge, on behalf of Alumni Relations Cell, IBS Hyderabad, take utmost privilege to welcome to the galaxy of intellectuals our mentor, Professor Mahesh Kumar Soma, faculty, beloved alumni, and our dear friends to one of the major panel discussion forums, Conflux 2020. Unsettled, haphazard, economic fallout, and whatnot. 2020 has witnessed it all. It has been a year of transition from reality to virtual reality. But the question remains, what is the way ahead? How do we go about from here? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the topic for this year's panel discussion, the future of work post-COVID-19. Today we have with us the pioneer of the corporate world to throw some light on the topic. Your life was a blessing, your memory a treasure. You are loved beyond words and missed beyond measure. You will always be in our hearts, dear director sir. As I quote him, the show must go on. With that, I move ahead with today's evening. Now, I welcome the one who is open to new experiences and is an expert at forging connections and maintaining them. As an academic and researcher in management, he has managed and disseminated research on the interface between marketing, technology, and public policy interventions in India. Along with research, consulting, and teaching experiences in the areas of affordability, accessibility, and acceptance of products and services, he also writes a weekly newsletter on running platform marketing. To moderate the panel discussion, we have with us someone who has always been the guiding light of our institution, ushered in a generation of students, giving exposure to a plethora of knowledge and understanding. Professor Shailendra Bisht. We welcome you, sir. Please take note. Yeah. Please take note that while the session is going on, you can simultaneously ask your questions and queries in the chat box. Also, please mention your name and batch details along with it. And due to the paucity of time, not all questions can be answered. So I would request you to reach out to our admin on LinkedIn. Sir, now I would request you to take over the platform.
Thank you very much, Annie, and a very good evening to all of you. You know what? Let me start with a very small quote, but I think it's pertinent to the topic that we have today. The best way to predict future is to create it. Okay? The best way to predict future is to create it. And I'm so glad when ARC team got in touch and they were talking about what do we do in this pandemic situation. We always have our dear alumni coming back and sharing their knowledge and their experience and their insights about what is happening in the world around them and how they are doing it. And we sat through and we sort of brainstormed, and one of the topics which came up is that the present condition, and of course what has been happening for let's say over half a decade now, has extraordinarily transformed the way we interact with the world of work and actually how we work as well. So we went ahead and thought of this topic. I'm so glad for our alumni to come back to us and share their thoughts today as well. Now, I'm going to make it a little easier for everybody by not speaking too much, and I keep saying Sunday being my non-teaching day. Okay, that's how I take it. And Professor Mahesh is also here. Thank you very much, sir, for coming in. So, Okay, so what we would do now is we would move in phases, and where we try to cover as many topics as possible. And the first thing that we would do now is to ask our panelists to sort of tell us where they come from so that we could place them in their discussion points and also to give a brief overview. I'm just going to go in rounds, no particular order, and we'll try to make sure that everybody gets to present their viewpoint. So let me go to Chandan first. Chandan, a brief introduction about you, your work, where you've been since you left campus, and that has been long now. And what do you think about a general overview of the topic?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, ARC team, to really invite me here. I feel honored, and I think when I look at it, I think it's such a relevant topic because it has, in fact, touched everyone, not only in India, but all across the globe. Because COVID-19 pandemic has impacted all of us in different forms and different ways, both personally as well as professionally for everyone. Before I introduce myself, probably you would be, I would like to give a brief background about, from where I come from, so Colruyt Group, because many of you may not be knowing about the Colruyt Group as an organization. Just to introduce the group very briefly in 2 minutes, I would say that it's a retail organization. It's a retail organization based out of Belgium, but we have our mainly retail stores in France, Belgium, and Luxembourg. It's about $11 billion company with almost 30,000 people working in this organization, again spread across India, of course, because we work out of India, Belgium, Luxembourg, and France again. Out of this $10 billion of economy of the revenue that we generate, almost 70% of the revenue comes from food businesses. So that's our core business where we operate out of it. And remaining around another 10% is coming from wholesale businesses where we do large transactions with other business partners. And remaining 20%, the group is pretty much diversified. We are into petroleum businesses. We are also into green energy businesses. We run wind farms, solar farms, both in inland as well as in sea. In fact, one of the largest wind farms which are in the sea, in the North Sea, are operated to this group company. So that's a little bit about the organization Colruyt Group. Now coming back to Colruyt India, I formed part of Colruyt India and worked for the group. So Colruyt India was established approximately 13 years back. In fact, last week we had our annual day, a virtual annual day for the first time. In fact, COVID has changed a lot of things, and this is one of the things that has really changed. So everything is virtual now. So 13 years in existence, and I, in fact, joined this group almost 10 years back. Out of my 18 years of experience, I've been working almost 10 years with Colruyt India, and have spent almost 5-6 years of my working career with Colruyt Group in Belgium, in fact. Currently, in the last 2 years, rather, I'm working as a department head or delivery head, you can call it from the external world perspective, where I manage the technology services, which focuses on application development and delivery for the whole Colruyt Group ecosystem, in fact. We have almost 6 teams of around 100 people who are working on different technologies. Other than that, I also are responsible for incubating and industrializing new technologies for the groups. Currently, we are looking at hyper-automation and IoT kind of platforms, how we can bring it to the group and how it can benefit the organization. Other than that, what I can recollect is I also am responsible for the IT security solutions for the group again, where I have a team which takes care of the security needs in terms of platforms and technology. So that's really a little bit about me. I think if I have to just recollect from the perspective of COVID and how it impacts and the future of work, I would like to take a step back just to look at it. The crisis is nothing that comes. It's not for the first time. In fact, it has come again and again. That's very important to understand and how it can bring a change. In fact, so when I came out of the college, in fact, in 2002 there was the .com crisis. Then in 2007, 2008, 2009, there was the financial crisis, right? Whenever this kind of crisis happen, what I feel is, if I look at conceptually, there is an equilibrium mode and then there is a revolution mode. So we are currently in a kind of a revolution mode. And whenever there is a kind of a revolution mode, there is a kind of tectonic shift, a paradigm shift, which structurally changes things. And I'm sure this crisis will also bring in a lot of changes. That's my take on the work front. And I'm sure working from anywhere is going to be something that would come definitely would come in the future way of working. Earlier, we used to think, work from home as a kind of benefit to the employees, right? So it was not really structurally available to everyone. But now, if I look at it, working from anywhere is going to be the norm for certain kinds of work, or it can be a possibility for many kinds of work. That's my short take on the whole.
Thank you, Chandan. Thank you very much for that insight. Let me quickly go to Raja Satish here. Raja Satish, if you could just bring us up in terms of where you've been in your campus, and then your quick perspective on what's happening to world of work now.
Hello, sir. Hi. Good evening, everyone. I'm from Hyderabad campus from the class of 2010. As Chandan rightly said, like we have just faced the recession and the crisis when we were during the college and all that, seeing the outgoing batch and all that. At present, I'm with a multinational in communications vertical. I take care of internal communications and all that. So what we are seeing of late with respect to the crisis and the pandemic is the shift, how quickly you can shift to the new technologies, or how quickly you can adopt to technologies. Like earlier, I used to work with an edtech firm previously, like 4 or 5 months before. And 2 years before, we never used so many technologies, so many collaborative technologies and so many conferencing technologies. Now, like the company has a bunch of technologies. They have subscribed to so many platforms, like things which are done manually, things which were done with human intervention. Now, these things have been graduated to technology. So this is a bigger shift. And okay, the pandemic gave a good sign with respect to our adoption. In marketing, we call them early adopters. So how early you can adopt to this new shift, and how flexible are you with the shift? If you are of a mindset where you can't welcome change, you feel, okay, I am used with the older ways of working, or I'm used with a traditional work kind of a mindset. So it won't work that way. So we have to leverage the growth of technology, and it's not like humans versus machines. So I'm a human, I may lose a job, and machines are taking over and all that. It's like how humans are enabled by these machines. So how technology and machines are enabling you to perform better. So the whole mindset revolves around how effectively you can function by leveraging the technology, and how early you can adopt, and how flexible you can be at your workspace.
I think that's fantastic in terms of people who adapt, people who change are going to sort of rule the world, and they are the ones who are going to come out of this thing successful, alive at least. In terms of companies, they are going to remain alive. Okay, we also have Sashank here today. Sashank, quick comments?
Hello. Thank you so much, sir, for inviting me specifically. And I wanted to add what Mr. Raja told actually. That adaptability is the key actually when we are talking about future of work. And like a panelist member already discussed, that the recession or the change is happening since a long time. It's not, and it's going to happen every 5 to 10 years. That would be something which would happen every 5 to 10 years. And the most important key element when you go and start working is the adaptability. What is organization that want from you? You need to understand that. It's very simple. When I talk about sales, and when you go for a sales the session, the one thing which a sales trainer or a sales tutor would always say is that you have to not understand what you want to sell. You have to understand what the customer wants from you. And that is the key here in this element also. You have to understand what does that organization want from you if you are looking out for it, or if you are wanted to opt for a job as your future. So what does that organization want from you in any period of the time? So when I use the word COVID here, I wanted to say one very important thing. The adaptability here was how you can act to the situation from a physical to an online. Not necessarily it would be there after 5 years, 7 years, it may be something else. You never know what is going to come. No one knew that Zoom or Google Meet or YouTube was going to be so very big in just 6 months. So the adaptability is the key. Now, I come from a training background. I give a lot of trainings from last so many years, and my training topics were very simple. It was all about sales. It was all about communication. It was all about leadership. It was all about team building. But the whole thing has changed now. That how to do work from home. Very simple as that. Because people do not feel so very comfortable doing work from home. And I was surprised at the initial stage when these topics were coming. That okay, how I cannot adapt. It's very easy. It's so very fun that I am working with my family sitting at home. But suddenly I realized that people are facing so many challenges when they're working from home. They could not able to spend that 9 to 6 concept. It has changed completely from morning 6 to evening 12 concept. That my client wants some time, and how would I able to give that time? So this is a very new concept altogether, and I have received almost 15 to 20 trainings of the different companies how to do work from home properly. So adaptability. If you have to work on any situation, I say two very important skills that has to work on. That is adaptability and the flexibility in your work. Adaptability and flexibility. If you could able to work on that concept, and I'll tell you, it will change. It's a very we can't say what is adaptability, what is like how you cannot define success. What is the meaning of success? Here you cannot define what is the meaning of adaptability or flexibility. You have to understand. There is something called as golden rule and platinum rule in the work culture. The golden rule says treat others the way they want to be treated. Have you heard this golden rule? I'm sure you would have heard this. Treat others the way they should be treated. And that this was a golden rule, treat others the way you should be treated. Now the rule has changed completely. It is now the platinum rule that we are talking about. Treat others the way they want to be treated. The meaning of this is, if a person wants to be treated in X way, you have to treat that person in X way. And when you meet a Y person and you want them to be treated in Y way, you have to treat them in Y way. That is what we have to work on. That you have to customize your flexibility, adaptability with the way organization wants. You can't say, oh, this is what I am and this is what I do. You have to change that. You have to change from I to you basically. What you want, I am going to deliver that. That is what the new organization wants. That is what the new team is going to work on. And this is what a new innovation, which I'm talking about, the young generation innovation would always look out about. What is that you wanted? To change from I to you, and that then you will see a lot of changes in yourself. When I wanted to squeeze that adaptability and flexibility, I want to say, understand what the front person is looking out for, what organization is looking out for, what your boss wants to look out from you, and change yourself accordingly. Maybe you are reporting to 2 different bosses or 3 different bosses. You have to understand that you don't have to work as per one boss. You might have to understand what X boss wants, what Y boss wants, what Z boss wants, and change that accordingly again and again. So this is something that I want to start with. Maybe once we go ahead in terms of digitalization, in terms of the transformation, in terms of individual, I may give my own further prospect there.
Okay, that's wonderful, Prashant. In fact, when we were growing up, one of the career advice we used to get was, okay, my dad had a 9 to 5 job. I would be having 5 to 9 jobs in my life. I mean, because days of standard work are no more there. So now you would have maybe 59 different activities during the same day, reporting to 5 different bosses across 3 time zones. You never know. This is
very correct.
Yeah, great point. Thank you very much on that, sir. We also have Sandeep. Sandeep, if you could quickly tell us about your journey so far after you left campus, and then brief comments about the topic, future of work.
Am I audible now, sir?
No.
Yeah,
yes, you're audible.
It was odd. Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and thanks a lot for this opportunity. And I would like to, I'm very humble that the college has, given us this chance to really share our views on a particular topic like the future of work. And Team ARC is doing a wonderful job, and I'm really impressed. And I'll quote one example like for this that you buy a product and you get after sales service. So when you pass out of a college, and alumni relation is like after sales service. I really feel glad and I'm happy about it. Yeah, so that is there, and I would also like to remember Sheshaya sir, who taught us, lot of good stuff, lot of great tricks he used to tell us in economics. And although I'm not a great student in economics, but yeah, I was quite impressed with him. So I would like to remember him, and I would like to give him my tributes. So yeah, as far as my journey is concerned, I'm passed out of 2004 batch from IBS Hyderabad, and I worked in banking, insurance, and technology sector. And currently, I'm doing my own consulting. I have a consulting firm based out of Hyderabad, and I do consulting like digital marketing and sales and marketing. I prepare go-to-marketing strategies for the customers across the domains, primarily for tech companies. Now, and in between, I did my law as well, LLB and LLM, and I'm pursuing my PhD as well now. So that that interest for education has not gone yet. So I'm keep on studying, and that is there. So as far as this Corona, in sales, because I do technology sales, so we talk about disparate applications, or applications work in silos, like they are isolated from each other. So there is a concept of change management where companies talk about that how we can make all our applications work together. So Corona has done that in our personal and professional life. Personally, we were. It has told us what is the meaning of family. It has told us what is the meaning of togetherness. Same ways in business, it has changed drastically. We can call it as pre-pandemic and post-pandemic era, and it's a new normal now. I'm from throughout my career I'm into sales and marketing. I've done sales, like I've sold credit cards, insurance policies, software applications in banking, insurance, telecom verticals. So throughout my career was into sales, and Corona has impacted the sales department majorly as far as the organization is concerned, because especially the B2B people who are into business to business sales or institutional sales, we used to go and meet customers, and we used to have face to face meetings, and relationship is what is required in life, as far as the professional or sales is concerned. So that has got impacted a lot, and it's a new normal. Everybody is thinking, and a lot of uncertainty is there, whether it will go, when it will go, whether there will be a vaccine or not. So yeah, that is there. So now work has got a huge impact, because now majority of the people are working from home, and there are certain challenges in that, like the motivation level is not there, and people they can't focus on their job, and a lot of challenges are going around. And as I'm a businessman, I have my own organization, and my business has got impacted due to Corona. A lot of challenges are there. So the work has definitely got impacted. And as I said, Corona has taught us very good lesson, whether it's our personal life or professional life. We have to now. My father used to tell me that life is all about uncertainties. You should be always ready to face the challenge. And Corona has proved it. Like in my till Corona came, my life was okay. Like I never saw any great eventuality or uncertainty. But it's a 360-degree change. It's totally opposite of what we used to do. So pre-pandemic era, our life was like we used to go meet customers, we used to do socializing, we used to have great parties in the organizations. Everything was there, but now all those things are not there right now. Maybe in future it will come. So Corona, yeah, everything has plus and minus. Corona has definitely impacted the business. I have seen a lot of companies closing down. I have seen a lot of employees, losing their jobs, and few of my friends in my circle have lost their jobs. They are looking out for jobs. So yeah, definitely it has created the negative impact also. There are certain positives which I said, like we have learned to understand and accept that such uncertainties might come, which can not only impact the professional life or the business life, it can impact the personal life as well, because it's life threatening. So for future, I mean, further I'll express my views about the other topics. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sandeep. So I hope now everybody knows where our guests are coming from, their perspective and their own life experiences, because your life experiences determine what kind of philosophy of life you would have, what kind of organizations you would work for. So with this kind of background and the initial thoughts, let's dive into the discussion now, and let's address the elephant in the room, as we call it, which is COVID-19. So now, to sort of give you a framework as to how we're going to tackle this. So next, I'll again call upon the guest in order to give everybody an opportunity. But the question that we're trying to solve now is at four levels. The first level is what are the changes that you see around you at an ecosystem level, at a beyond industry kind of level, macro factors that you see around. Second level that we would want your opinion about, and because you have been in industry for long, is what is happening at your own organization level, whether you have your own business or you work for somebody else, whether you work in India or like in Europe. So that's the second level of insights that we would want, and we would, I mean, generally speaking, we want to keep it short and so that we'll get more food for thought for the students and all those who are watching over YouTube. The third level is what we're calling as the individual level. So we know countries have been impacted, we know companies have been impacted, but we also know that individuals have been impacted. And Sandeep just spoke about how people in his own circle have been impacted. And we all know how people have lost jobs. In fact, the most powerful man till yesterday, Donald Trump, lost his job because of COVID. He got COVID and he has got kicked out of his job actually, which is good for some of us at least. But to come back, so at the personal level, we have got two things that we would want you to focus on. As an individual, as a person, as an employee, what are the changes you have seen because of Corona or COVID-19? And from your customers, what kind of changes are you looking at? So to sort of give you a frame, when you give your answer, when you speak about the impact of COVID on the future of work, we're going to look at it in four perspectives. What is happening at macro country level or across the world? Then what is happening at your organization level? What is happening for you as an employee or as an owner? And what is happening to your customers? Okay. So what I would do is now, perhaps I'll ask Raja to start. Raja, Satish, if you could start. And like I said, if you could keep it for, let's say, 3 minutes. I know it's a tough task, but let's keep it to 3 minutes so that we get more time for Q&A at the end. Raja.
Sure. Thanks, sir. So if I have to address the whole thing, the whole ecosystem and how is it impacting, as I told in my earlier point, it's all about how quickly you adapt. People no longer have physical meetings, so a lot of jobs, a lot of professions, and a lot of functions are affecting it large. Like I belong to marketing function. I handle a bit of sales in my previous organization. Now I'm completely into marketing communication. So the physical presence with respect to marketing, working with ad agencies, working with other stakeholders, and ensuring that our collaterals are in line and the design and they are satisfactorily produced and delivered to client and the promotions and all. So everything is happening in a closed environment. Like we're on a Zoom call or we're on a Skype call and we're trying to fix some design, fix some framework with respect to marketing. And even clients, like most of the clients who belong to a traditional mindset, they're not still graduated to this online presence. Look, they still want a physical meeting. So how harder we ask them for a web meeting or something, but still they ask for the physical meeting, which is quite impossible in this time. So we have struggles on that side, but still we are trying to evolve there, and we are ensuring that employees are equally motivated. When I have to talk about organization level, like now things have been changed, and now I represent a multinational company with it's like the design, the creative element and everything. Even we work with a lot of videos and a lot of collaterals. Things are happening online. Like we collaborate with a lot of teams, a lot of agencies across the globe, and we work online. So employees have to be motivated with respect to sticking to the timelines and when I work with a European team and an American team, the timelines and how well we ensure that things are happening within a given framework. So the employee engagement is paramount in these days, like how employees motivated, because like as Sandeep told, no more parties, no more team lunches and all that. So how well you're communicating with your employees and how well you're motivating with your team becomes paramount. And we are rolling out a lot of engagement activities with respect to keeping them charged and motivated at work and ensuring that things will be in line. And lot of software purchases and lot of technologies. Like 1 year ago, I used to work with like 3 or 4 technologies, maybe an audio conferencing or a video conferencing and a couple of other collaboration technologies. Now, in my day-to-day activities, I have to work with like 14 to 15 technologies: a content management software, a collaborative work software, an assessment software. So there are like 14, 15 software. So this adaptation is what will give us great results in these times. So that's what I want to mention now.
Thank you. I think this idea about role of technology, and I'm going to pick on that and ask you to respond again on specifically on role of technology in future of work. But let me quickly go to Sashank now. Sashank, if you could just share your view about very specifically how pandemic has influenced the world of work, future of work, with respect to the ecosystem or the company level or at the individual level.
I have a completely different perspective from my which I have analyzed. I believe a lot of people, like when we were discussing within our group, within our community, people started talking about that tomorrow is digitalization, the future is digitalization. And I am not 100% sure about it, because I'll tell you, the companies like Make My Trip, which is pure digitalization. How is it performing today? And I am thinking in a very different way, is that tomorrow, like today, when we are sitting and doing this Google Meet discussion instead of being at your campus, and I'm so very comfortable doing it from here, and it's become an habit. If it was for 1 month, 2 months, it would not been a habit actually, but now this became an habit. Now I don't wish to travel to Shankarpalli there and give a session. I would be more comfortable sitting here and give a topic and give a session, and I'm sure a lot of them are more comfortable doing that, which saves a lot of cost, lot of time for everyone. Now, because of that, there is a lot of impact. So if I'm not traveling to Shankarpalli, what is the overall impact? I'm not using a cab facility there, or I'm not using a petrol there, or I'm not using a lot many things, which may be an impact there. I may not be doing an Ola or Uber a lot now, because I'm more comfortable doing a Zoom call or a meeting. So from an organization perspective, a lot of them have changed themselves. I will tell you, I'm in touch with a lot of CXOs basically. My work happens with a lot of CXOs. And today, when they used to come and meet me and have a discussion on a lot of topics, today we are all doing discussions on Zoom and the Google Meet, and they say I'm more comfortable doing it here. So the thing is that I would not use a lot of travel across the world. I have, like, for example, if I have my clients in Mumbai, I have my clients in Delhi, I have my clients in Bangalore, and I used to travel there through air and through various other systems. So I used to go to Make My Trip to book the ticket. I might have to use air travel. Then I used to book a hotel. I used to book an Ola. Now, when I talk about digitalization, Ola or Uber is like a digital platform. It's not a travel specific. It's not offline. It's an online. Make My Trip, like, companies are all online. So you have to understand, and Zoom is also an online. So there is a very big impact for companies like Zoom or Google Meet or every company. Like, if you see every company that wanted to have an organization like Zoom or Google Meet today. It's very similar to this platform. And Ola, which was one of the biggest, we call it one of the biggest startup, like what we call Flipkart. Ola was almost at a similar level. Uber was much bigger than any other startup. Today we look out at that particular thing. I'm not very sure how we are going to work on for next 2 years, 3 years. What would be the revenue? What would be the style of working there? So this is something, when we talk about even digitalization, we have to understand how organization would change, how people are going to respond there, how an economy would work. there is something like pharma industry, or there would be a huge investment which would come in the pharma industry even after pandemic. Because now we are ready. If there is something big happen like that after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we should be ready in a bigger perspective. Pharma is not at all a digitalization. Might be certain areas that they use automation, but there is a lot of plant. India is one of the biggest manufacturing of any pharma across the world. We provide vaccine of over 70%. So you see a very big boom here for India in this perspective. So when we are working from an organization perspective, when we are even talking from an economic perspective, you have to understand what people might expect in next 5 years, 7 years, 10 years down the line. And I will tell you, it will change every 5 to 7 years. Yesterday we were talking about cars. Today we are talking about electric cars. The whole industry is changing completely. We are talking about two-wheelers. Now people are talking about electric two-wheelers. They don't have to use that petrols and other things, which is very, very cost effective. So you have to think, maybe I became a mechanical engineer 4 years before, which was more from an automobile engineer, which I'm talking about from a generic perspective. Today, I think next 5 years down the line, we are talking about electrical engineer, because we are more focusing on electric car rather than the actual car. Like the way I said earlier, adaptability is key. Understanding what next 5 years would happen, and what change that organization level people are expecting, what change the people wanted, the organization want from you, how quickly you change that particular thing. You have to work on that. Coming to an individual perspective, I'll give you my own case study, which is very, I feel very different. Like, I come from a training industry, and training industry is a cost for any organization. When I use the word cost, I invest an X amount to train my employees. This is what happens. I invest an X amount to train my employees, and I only invest at the time of boom, not at the time of recession. Because if there is a recession, I try to save my cost. So I come from a training industry where I provide trainings to the companies. I have been tied up with more than 120, 125 corporates till now, and I give them trainings on various topics as an organization. So I have more than 90, 95 trainers associated with me who deliver training across India location. And suddenly when COVID came, I was damn assured that, okay, next 1 year I'm not even going to earn 1 rupee from any organization. And I was rest assured that whatever my savings were there from last 4-5 years, it may go out. But to my change, it was completely different. After 1-2 months of lockdown, maybe in the month of June or July, I see a lot of change happen in online part of it. There are a lot of individuals. So I was part of corporate training. A lot of individuals now wanted to upgrade themselves. When I use the word upgrade themselves, because of COVID, they feel that the job may be in stake. So I have to upgrade myself. To upgrade myself, I have to invest money in training, in upgrading myself. So I have to invest money in training. So now, because of what corporate used to invest earlier, now individuals are investing now. And suddenly I see in next 1 year or 2 years down the line, I have actually built 3 different stream of 3 different vertical of my business. Yes, corporate training would be there. It might have halt a little bit. It will not change. So it is going to be there in future. Then there is an individual training that we are talking about, where people started understanding the importance of me upgrading. I got second vertical. And then the third vertical is that I come also take care of a lot of resume, CXO profile writing, right? A lot of resume writing. I see a completely different vertical all there also. So suddenly I believe there is e-learning videos like Udemy or LinkedIn learnings are on boom. I suddenly see so many verticals now in next 1-2 years, where my opportunity of business is 4 times what I was doing 1 year before. So today I feel that it is something like an opportunity in disguise. Like I see that, okay, good, that the COVID has happened. I have started changing my thought perspective. I've started changing thinking in such a way that I can start earning 3 times more in next 2 years than what I am earning today. I was stuck for this particular opportunity since last 10 years. I am doing training since 2009. I got stuck in this particular same industry for a long period of time. I got an opportunity to change my overall industry, overall way of working, and also it would help me in getting more revenue with lot of cost cutting. I had an office earlier. I had lot many people working for corporate training, sales, and a lot of things happening. Today I know that I can create a system, work from home, where I can save a lot of cost, because my maximum cost was real estate, which I am reducing it overall. I see a good opportunity of earning and less opportunity of cost saving. This is what, from an individual perspective, I look from all young generation. You see two very important things. What are the opportunities which I can knock? Maybe I've done marketing, maybe I've done finance, maybe I've done HR, but what are the opportunities which I can knock? Maybe as an individual, maybe as an entrepreneur, maybe as whatever you feel, maybe while working, what are the opportunities? There are so many freelancing opportunities coming into the picture. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of them are still doing it in the college because I was doing it when I was in ITS. So please work on that. What is the opportunities which I can do? Because practical opportunities are more helpful than theory. What we are like, I'm very happy that our team have conducted this event. You learn a lot when you have conducted this event, when compared to speaking and only thinking. So think of an opportunity which is coming in your way as an individual. The second thing is that organization, see what your company wanted, understand that at young age, at 20 age, I've seen, I do a lot of hiring, internship hiring from IBS and a lot of good colleges in Hyderabad. One challenge which I always face is that the thought process are very limited. Today is the time that you should start thinking of what can I do further, what can I do different. If Shashank wanted me to work for 6 hours as an intern, how can I work for 8 or 9 hours and do different things? Which I always face a difficulty when I hire a lot of interns. I say 50% of the time, I believe that the interns wanted to think about how can I enjoy that 3 months. I always look out the other way. How can I work more in this 3 months to prove myself, to see where I am? So look out for those opportunities wherever I can look out to work. So I think my case study is very, very important because what I started thinking in the month of March and what I started thinking in the month of July was completely different. I've changed my completely business style of working to make sure that two things, cost cutting and revenue generation, which is what I want from you. How can I do a lot of cost cutting as an individual person? How do I start earning more from different opportunities which is coming in my way? Look out for that opportunities. Yeah, this is from me. Maybe I think Chandana was able to add.
Interesting, Shashank, very interesting thoughts here. In fact, so one of the things that a lot of people are sort of putting it on COVID, but we always knew that there are certain changes which are coming in. And when Shashank says that, now the responsibility is more on individuals to sort of relearn and upskill themselves, I think COVID has simply accelerated it. That feeling was always in people who are getting into upskilling and upgrading as individuals or as employees. And because of COVID, that sense of urgency has come in, and a lot of people are not doing it of their own violation to be ready for the future. In that sense, ready for the future of work. Okay, let me quickly go to Sandeep now. Sandeep, if you could share your quick thoughts again. Like I said, how has COVID impacted the world of work, and what is going to be the future of work with respect to COVID and the aftermath of COVID?
Yes, sir. I would like to talk about the sales department because I have some experience to talk about that. Sir, COVID, as far as the industries are concerned, the major industries hit by COVID is from food services, hospitality, travel, tourism. I mean, these are the entertainment movie industry. It has got impacted hugely. All cinema halls were closed for almost 6 months. Restaurants, no travel. So, but there is a study, sir, from Quartz, organization, which talks about that they have surveyed some people in Hong Kong, UK, USA, and Germany and Australia. But the result was quite interesting, where 40% of the male candidates who are like employees in different companies, they said that our culture, the organization culture, or you can say our efficiency has improved. But 25 to 30% female candidates said that they are facing problems right now because women are more employed in the travel, tourism, and hospitality and such industries, so they might have lost their jobs in comparison of their male counterparts. So these industries are highly impacted by Corona. Now, sir, in sales we have, as Gartner also talks about different variety of salespeople in any organization. Like you have people who are relationship builders, you have people who are like challengers, or people who are just hard workers or problem solvers. So there are different variety of salespeople we have in any organization, and they work as a team, and they crack the orders, they get the orders from the customers. And we always talk about relationship building. So Corona, as I said previously, Corona has definitely impacted the relationship building part, because in sales, especially in B2B sales, you need to meet the customer. You need to meet him unless and until you do a face-to-face meeting. I mean, I'm talking about the Indian perspective. More it prominent in Indian perspective that we go and meet a customer. It takes us normally 3 to 4 months to even get a appointment from him. Then we go and meet him, and then series of meetings we will do. We will create a rapport with him. We'll create a relationship with him. Then we will talk about the product, because in sales, there is a value gap. Is the concept where if I can't understand the requirement of the customer, and if I'm just forcing myself and my product in front of him, he may not buy. So again, one more aspect is, the first thing what we do in sales is we talk about whether they have the budget or not in this financial year. So unless and until that customer has a budget, I may not waste my time with him. And rather than that, I'll go to some other customer and meet him quite often and try to create a relationship and try to make a sale out of it. So now Corona has restricted face-to-face meetings, and in Indian perspective, face-to-face is what works for us, because unless and until I go and meet somebody, I show him my face, and he feels some faith in my face, and my gestures, my communication, and overall appearance. Then only he'll entertain us further. So now virtually we are doing Zoom calls with customers, but it is difficult. It is very difficult, to crack big orders, like where the sale is say 1 million or 2 million, or even say there are enterprise level applications. So you need, because such applications takes 1.5 year times, normally 12 to 18 month cycle they have now. So that is there. Now companies are shifting to e-commerce. I mean, I have some clients. I do consulting for a FMCG company based out of Hyderabad. They used to have all their wholesaler retailer model, and their online sales was very less. But last 6 months, 30 to 35% of the revenue is coming from online sales. They had to quickly make the website and all that. I helped them in the technology perspective and everything. So now e-commerce is really taking it over the orthodox model of selling your products. But the sales team is working from home. So the challenge is how you will monitor them, how you will monitor the performance of the sales team, how you will motivate them to really stay focused, and how they will contact with the customer. Unless and until I contact the customer, that is my first run. If sales is a cricket, a game of cricket, I have to meet the customer. I have to talk to him. I have to take an appointment. So Corona has definitely affected all that. So, I mean, it's a challenge. And the other challenge is how companies can enable the sales force to utilize the existing technologies, or else to get, to induce new technologies to help them do their job. Now, this is a big task. Sales people normally, we don't have habit of sitting on at the desk and do work on the desktops and all that. We normally move around. Okay, we have a laptop, we give presentations, demonstrations, and everything. So now this new technology inducement will also create a problem for the sales force, because many of us may not be that tech savvy. I mean, I'm not talking about just technology sales, I'm talking about all other industries. So they may not be tech savvy. So this inducement of new technology might create a problem for them. It will take time for them to really adjust with the new technologies, the new processes. So it might impact their business. They might lose their job. So there is a lot of uncertainty around, because of Corona. This is what I am observing from sales perspective, because the topic is, the future of work. So I'm not taking it in terms of business side. I'm taking it more in terms of from the employee's perspective. Third, one more important aspect is Corona. I mean, pandemic is there. It is life-threatening. It is, you can't move around as freely as we used to do previously. So we have limited opportunity now. Now, one more thing is, when you go and meet a customer in a face-to-face mode, the relationship building is different than a Zoom call. Zoom call, customer is highly focused on the topic. He will not, talk anything else other than the topic. So it is very difficult for a salesman to really convince him in a Zoom call. In a normal face-to-face meeting, you go have tea. You can talk about something. You can talk about the tea, or you can start the conversation. But here, he is very much focused, and we all know, sir, like, in digital platforms, like if I use Facebook, or in comparison of reading a newspaper, my concentration on Facebook, using the Facebook is much higher than reading a newspaper or watching TV. So same logic is applied for a customer and a salesperson relationship also. Customers are highly focused now. They don't have any other work. If the meeting is scheduled, you cannot get late for even 1 second or 1 minute. You have to be on time. Not like you can say that, okay, sir, there was a traffic, there was some other meeting, I got, stuck in that. Now you can't make such excuses. And so pressure is more on the sales team. Huge amount of pressure is there. They have to deliver, they have to, crack orders, they have to generate revenues, but with virtual mode. I mean, now we used to have, sir, everybody's aware, like, we have normally, we do suspecting, prospecting, and then, we make a customer, and then customer becomes a client, and then in future he becomes an advocate. So now we are doing virtual prospecting. Now virtual prospecting, virtual suspecting, I mean, it is definitely challenging. It is going to be tough for the salespeople, because I'm representing them. So definitely it will create a lot of problem, but we have to cope up with it. And as I said initially, that, we used to work in silos. Now all the sales teams are working together. We are sharing our views. Like I am into consulting. I help my customer sales team to, get more revenue. So I train them, and, I really interact with them as far as their challenges, their conflicts with the customers, how to, get an appointment even, or how to, do negotiation. So everything is there. The entire cycle has got impacted because of Corona.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sandeep. And I think one of the things that I have picked up, and this is going to become very important going forward, especially when we look at the world of work or the future of work, is to see what Sandeep is talking about. I think I'm just trying to paraphrase his words here. That idea of serendipity, that idea of discovering things by chance. So when you sit and meet somebody, you're walking in a corridor, you look at somebody, you look at their desk and there's a book lying around, or you see there is a cup of coffee kept there, or there is a specific brand of tea bags which is kept there. All these things, all these cues about individuals and people's personality. What kind of books are there? What is the kind of pen they are using? Or where are they sitting? How are they sitting? All those cues, and I call it the power of serendipity. These are the things which happen by chance. And I think that is the kind of input, and going forward, to be able to read the room. You walk into a meeting, and the way people are sitting and talking to each other, you could read the room and figure out, bas, aaj hawa kidhar chal rahi hai, kind of thing. What is the mood there? In an online virtual environment, that is one power. I think one of the superpower of salespeople has been taken away to read the room, because there is no room. There is no physical space. So you don't know where the chairs are, who's sitting facing whom. That itself used to tell us, boss, scene kya hai aaj ka? That is that idea of serendipity and this power of reading the room. I think we'll have to develop new skills for that. And we need, Sashank, perhaps you should look at it and figure out how do we read a room in a virtual meeting and figure out that part. Okay, I'll come back to you, but this reading the room is that you should do a special session on that later on. Professor Mahesh is also here. Mahesh,
Right.
we always talk about understanding the client, understanding the people in the room, this people reading skill in an online environment, because that is going to be the future of work. So we need to learn that.
Absolutely right.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much. Let me go quickly to Chandan now. Chandan, your quick thoughts on generally about, we have to get rid of Corona in this workshop. Also, we have to get rid of Corona. So we have exactly about 4 minutes here. We have to get rid of Corona and move on to more interesting topics in the future of work. So your thoughts on Corona and the future of work. Sorry, you're on mute, Chandan. Sorry.
Sorry for that. Well, I'll try to bring my views both from the perspective of how I look at the European market as well as the Indian ecosystem, because I can bring in the experience from both the places because we work for a Belgian company. When I look at pre-corona days, even in the Belgian market, or if you just compare in terms of the economy of Belgium versus India, it's a very developed country. India is developing. The per capita income of any European country is above $30,000 a year. We are around $2,000. The social security net that is existing around European Union countries, that's very strong, right? While in India it normally doesn't exist. When it comes to the work approach, if you look at it from India perspective, you look for fixed contract jobs. We want to work for a company. We want to work in we don't want working on short contracts. We work permanent employment. That's our view. But you look at a European organization, you will have a lot of people who are actually willing to work as a contractor. They want to sell their skills. They want to sell their knowledge. They are knowledge workers. They work for hours. That's how they approach things. Now, when I look at COVID-19, when it struck, I think there was a lockdown. It was a widespread, impact to both all the countries in the world, even Belgium. In India, it suffered. In Belgium also, people have suffered. But the way people responded was different. The simple thing is, there is a social security net. They were assured that they will be able to live healthy. They kept in-house. They tried to, protect themselves from the disease. While here, the social fabric was there. When people lost their jobs, they went back home. There was a lot of migration, right? So the impact and the way people respond has been different. What I try to bring here is, when a revolution like a kind of thing like COVID-19 has impacted, there will be an impact, and that impact will be long term. First of all, I said that, okay, working from anywhere is going to be the norm for the future. That is how I see it. But also, learning or continuous learning will also be part of the story. It will no longer, I think Shashank already mentioned that it is no longer going to be a corporate learning. It is going to be individual learning. Learning is also going to get more democratized. You see, now if you look at Unacademy and all those kind of solutions that are coming into the market, people are just trying to learn, and they feel that they can learn at any point of time. In fact, learning in bits and pieces is going to be one of the things. Whenever you have time, you pick up something, you learn on it. And you can offer these kind of services along with what you have been already working on. So for me, when I combine these two factors, I think the future is that there will be also more openness to work in a contractual mode. That could be the future which I see post-COVID-19, where people are open to offer their skills for a shorter duration time with a lot of flexibility. So that's where I feel. And then, of course, a lot of people might move to their passion. I mean, they might say that, okay, but since I can work from anywhere and I can do it very well, I might just not be stuck in one office or one place. Let me offer my services to multiple people, and I can do it on my own. I like that job. I can learn. Also, I can learn while I experience or gain some more experience. So that is going to happen more and more. So that's my take on the economy as a whole. If I look at it from the organization perspective, if you give me time, I can touch upon that, or I continue. Okay. If I look at it from the organization perspective, what I can say is that ours is a retail organization, right? And as a retail organization, what we are primarily doing is we are selling food. It's an essential need, in fact. But when COVID-19 struck, one of the biggest thing is that it's not only a financial disaster, but it is also a kind of a health disaster, right? So, but we need to, as an organization, we need to provide food. We need to keep our stores running. Now, that is a big challenge when there is a pandemic going on, right? We need to so how do we keep our people motivated coming to the stores so that they can sell the food? And how do we scale our online businesses so that we can, more and more click and deliver operations are possible? So those were the two big challenges that we had. And coming with that was, of course, the challenge of how do we communicate this to our end customers so that they feel that they are safe. They're coming into a safe environment to buy food, because that's That's very important. And then we also need to make sure that the communication to everybody else within the organization is also very, very sharp, so that they are aware of the best practices. We need to evolve in terms of providing a safe environment, safe processes, so that the shop floors are cleaned on a regular basis. So those were the practical challenges that I see. What happened when COVID-19 started, and now we are getting more and more used to that pattern of working, where processes have evolved to take up those kind of challenges. But how I feel is that from a continuity perspective, we could make those transition, right? Where we could evolve the process, we could make some changes. But organization has to grow, so we need to hire in new people. We need to make sure that when there is new people joining, they are able to learn the new ways of working, how we work, the culture, and all those kind of things. So that is going to be a challenge for the future if we continue to be in this online mode. So that's something that still requires from the leadership team. We are looking at how that can evolve, and how can we make sure that when a person gets into our organization, becomes very, very comfortable with our way of working, our culture, and things and those kind of things. That is where we are focusing on in the coming days from the work perspective.
Excellent. Thank you so much for this. So I think we are almost on time here, and I got two more topics. So what we would do is we'll get into a more rapid fire kind of thing where I'll pose a sort of comment or a question the way you want to take it, and then perhaps you could respond to it, let's say in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then we'll move on to more topics. So the next thing I want to pick on, and this is what I saw and heard, and we have had discussions over it, is that, and Raja talked about it, you also spoken about it, Shashank spoke about it, Sandeep also spoke about the role of technology. Okay, now let me put it this way: we're not done with COVID, but for the sake of discussion here, we're done with COVID now. So let's close this chapter on COVID. But what I would want you to focus on, with or without COVID, the future of work would have been impacted because of technology. With or without COVID also, but technology would have played a role. You just spoke about how new employees coming in are brought up to date about what the practices and culture of the company is, or what are the new skills or 10 new technologies that Raja was talking about which are used. Shashank was talking about new technology that people are learning and being trained on. So I just want you guys now to focus on what is the role of technology going forward in the future of work, how we're going to work, and what is the role that technology is going to play in that, with or without COVID. With COVID, we have discussed. Now, without COVID also, what is the role that you foresee for technology? Why I'm asking this? Because a lot of our students, current students, do not come from technology background, and they always have that inhibition. I'm not a technology person. What do I need to prepare myself for the world of work? So what is the kind of changes that you see around role of technology in the world of work? And let me quickly go to Shashank here. Let's go to Shashank. So Shashank, 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes quickly, and role of technology in the way of work.
I'll speak. Right. See, I look into the two pictures here. From the student perspective, someone who says that I do not come from a technology background, it's not a technology background. Whether you are an end user of technology a lot of time. Like for example, today we are using Google Meet. It's a technology, but we are the end user. So first thing that you should learn is that how can I learn various technologies? If I use the word, I use mobile, I use so many applications. Actually, you are an end user. Whether you can use those technology properly or not. Like for example, photo editing, video editing. If you are a marketing guy, can you do video editing quickly within even if you don't know a lot of technology? So those are the one thing that you should first start learning, that which are the technology which is required based on your background. If I am an HR, what should I learn in terms of technology as an end user? If I am a marketing guy, like for example, I learn video editing, if I come from a training background, I started learning on e-learning videos. How do you create those e-learning videos and post it on LinkedIn Learning, and post it on Udemy, or get in touch with Upgrad, whatever it may be. So you have to learn those end technology. You may not be a coder yourself. Learn those various technologies which gives you an impact. And as I told you, learn from what is for next 3-5 years that can be utilized. And I'm very sure after 3-5 years, there will be some new other technology which would come into the picture. So you always go with that 3-5 years thinking that these are the areas that would be useful for me to learn as an end user. Go with that particular thing initially, immediately, and start implementing. Don't wait for you getting a job, or don't wait that once you start working, then you will start doing it. This kind of a learning would be like 15 days, 1 month, 2 months, and you start learning like 8 to 10 different technology as an end user. Second thing, uh, obviously, I can tell you that technology is going to change, is going to be the future. We always know, like when we used to go to a restaurant, today we are utilizing more of Swiggy. If you go and ask many entrepreneurs, they say that 20 to 25% of my revenue comes through Swiggy or to Zomato. So technology definitely plays a very vital role. Yesterday, like a couple of years before, when we used to take an auto, today we are taking Uber and Ola. So this is something which is going to be there. So technology is something which is going to be there, and it's changing very rapidly. So if you can be something like a techno-functional person, I'm sure that would be very, very helpful for you for any kind of a job. When I use the word techno-functional, I'm talking about as a management perspective or as a functional guy, what you can do, and knowing about the technology backend would be an added advantage. So this is quick response. Maybe I believe others would able to answer. I think Mr. Chandan would able to answer that in a much better way.
We'll come to it. But let me quickly just. I think it's a wonderful idea, and Sandeep, you might want to talk more about it now. But this idea that you need to be a techno-functional person. So, future of work is going to be technology-led. You better get prepared for that kind of future, and you get more, let's say, friendly with technology. You get more techno-functional. I think that's a new word that I've sort of learned today. Thank you, Shashank, for that. But Sandeep, your thoughts on this role of technology and the way technology might transform the nature of work itself?
Yes, sir. I mean, from last 10 years, if you see, technology has, has become part and parcel of our life, whether it is personal or professional. And technology is the enabler. I mean, technology enables us to do our work efficiently, faster, and it also throws a lot of options for us. Same ways, technology is also enabling the customer side also. Customer is also becoming more demanding. Customer is also becoming more knowledgeable. He has more options. So when the customer has more options, you only get one or two chance to really impress him or really convince him. So competition is more because all your competitors have same technology. Everybody is using Salesforce. Everybody is using same kind of CRM applications or analytical applications, ERP applications. So technology is not a barrier for anybody. I mean, even now you have a core banking application for say 10 crores from Infosys, and same ways from a small time Indian company, again from say Hyderabad or Bangalore, you have it for 30-40 lakhs as well. Because I do deal with cooperative banks. Cooperative banks core banking will cost them around 30-40 lakhs or 50 lakhs. Same ways, if you talk about Finacle of Infosys, it runs in crores. So technology is not a barrier. Anybody can afford technology. I'm not disputing about the robustness of the technology or how good it will be, but at the base level, everybody is getting technology, to help their businesses, to help their employees, to help their customers. So technology is not a barrier, and it is making the life more challenging now because customer is also using that same kind of technology. I mean, a lot of people are there who are ready to help customers. A lot of platforms are there where people can just go and do they can just make the differences, like which product is good, which product is not good. Like you go to a shop and you want to buy a mobile, you can straight away go to Google and check how much it will cost in Flipkart and in Amazon and all other websites. So customer is demanding, customer has got more upper hand now. So you get one or two chances with the customer, and your competitor is also literally behind the customer. So technology is there, but how you can utilize that technology to enable your personal, goals as far as your organization is concerned is more important. And sir, majority of our students from the college, when they take up sales career, they are recruited by banks. And I worked for ICS and SDFC Bank, and I was into credit cards, and then I was into marketing also. So banking sales, any which was huge amount of banks are there now. So many banks are there. Customer, like I have 2-3 bank accounts: Axis, ICICI, SDFC. Every other day I get a call from SDFC or ICICI that sir, take loan. So even the products are becoming commodities. Customer is having technology. customer products are becoming commodities, customers have more options. So in such a chaotic situation, as a salesperson or as a marketing person or as an employee, what I should feel, or what I would like to advise to the students and to the all other people is usage of technology which can cater or satisfy your needs is more important. That is what I would like to say, sir.
Thank you, Sandeep. I think one of the very interesting point that you have raised, and I speak about it in my class multiple times, that technology which enables you as a salesperson has also enabled the customer. Yes. Okay, so don't take it for granted that you are more powerful with technology behind you. The same technology is available to the customer as well. It is available to your competitor as well. You might be a big shot. There might be a small startup somewhere in Bangalore who has access to the same technology. So the world of work is going to be fundamentally changed because of it has already changed, and because of COVID, maybe it is going to be accelerated further. Okay, great stuff. So let me go to Tandan here.
Sir, one more point I want to mention here, just quickly. So like companies are using technology to monitor their sales force. Like, I see a lot of apps where, they force sales employees to daily mark their attendance, where did you go, and they check, even navigate what all customers I visited. So this over monitoring has definitely created negative impact in the sales force, sir. That is there. And over usage of technology to approach your customer. Like today, it's a digital era. I am putting Facebook, I'm putting a Facebook campaign, I'm putting Twitter campaign, I'm putting LinkedIn campaign. Wherever customer is going, I'm approaching him. So this over approach is also is not good, is what I feel.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That's a great point again. Chandan, your thoughts, quick.
Yeah. Well, I will take this question in two parts. One, technology for retail. Then I will probably look into my area of work, which is technology in itself and how it impacts. So technology in retail, if I have to look at it, if you have to see it from a customer perspective, just because of the lockdown, I think the online sales of most of the companies have shot multiple times. I mean, I could see it both in India as well as, and you can see the response you find from most of the online platforms, that they are doing much bigger business than from what they were doing in the past. What it means is that customer has made that giant leap from doing shopping physically. For example, if you need to buy a garment, you buying physically, to going online and buying it. And they have experienced firsthand probably because of that lockdown, that sale is or purchase is possible online. So that's one of the big things that we have to keep in mind, which means there is a further future possibility to sell to the same customer, because now can be sold things online. So that's where we have, as a retail organization, we should look at all the possibilities to make that sales process much easier, right? And technology can definitely play a key role in making sure that the whole complete sales process is much better. Just to take an example, you have the specs, or you buy fashion garments. Already in the specs, you have the possibility to use VR to ensure that you buy the right kind of specs, right? If you're buying clothing online, then one of the biggest challenges for the retail organizations is the goods return. When product is sold and the customer doesn't find it good, first of all, he is not happy. The second is he has to return it, and the whole inventory is stuck up for, say, probably a month, right? And how can technology help you in solving that kind of a business problem is what we have to look at it from the future. So definitely technology can solve many of those kind of solutions, can be brought in with VR and probably even the 360-degree view. Now, since the customer is spending more time on the IT solutions, you can follow him better. You can make a much better pitch in terms of what should be sold, what could be recommended to be sold. Those kind of things can also happen better. So that's my take on the retail side. From the IT side of things, if I have to look at it, although we work as ITers, I think it's always a co-creation and collaboration that is always required, right? That's the reason why Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley, because it brings in right set of people at the right place. and it cannot be replicated just like that. So what it means is that technology has to, in the future, play a role in terms of collaboration and co-creation, and that's something that technology has to enable us. For example, somebody was already mentioned, I think it was Raja, was mentioning that you need to be able, or Sandeep probably, that you need a way to read the mind or the room, how the atmosphere is. Now, can collaboration tools help you in that? Is something that we need to evaluate. We are already, as a company, we are evaluating multiple solutions which are already available in the market to do some kind of co-creation, ideation, and seeing if that makes it possible for us to ensure that we build or design or choose the right set of solutions which will be used in the retail world. So those are the two things that
I think great stuff. So let me quickly go to Raja. Your thoughts?
Hello, sir. I want to highlight on few areas. Like the first thing which we will see a drastic change with respect to companies, recruitments and onboardings is how the companies are slowly shifting to virtual onboarding. Like now things have been virtual and employees have been inducted virtually and all that. At my present company, we onboard using bots, chat bots. You are welcomed by a chatbot. It says, hi, welcome to the company. This is your day one and all that. And then again, it tracks your progress over the next 3 months. After 15 days, it says it gives you a welcome again and it tracks the progress in 30 days, 45 days, 60 days. And in the 3 months or 4 months on, whatever the business requirement is, it ensures that you are perfectly onboarded and you are in line with your goals and objectives as mentioned in your work rule and all that. So virtual onboarding is very critical, and initially there were hiccups while we implemented that, but eventually people got used to that, and now obviously in case of online onboarding, at least you can see a human face and all that. In virtual onboarding, it's like completely the chatbot and technology. You're like speaking to a non-human entity like a robot and all that. Now people got used to that, and there's also a cut down lot of human intervention, and things have become smoothly. And post COVID and all that, like the HR team was able to onboard a lot of employees, which is not kind of possible in pre-COVID times when it was completely human, driven by humans and all that. Along with the virtual onboarding, we have a lot of e-learning with respect to iLearn and all that, as Sandeep, Shashank, and other panelists have already mentioned. The technology is enabling employees or workers to enhance their skills, and now with the time given, they're able to learn a lot. And also, you have a 9-hour login or a 12-hour login in a day, so they are ensuring that you have a 30 minutes or a 45 minutes or a 60 minutes of learning activity embedded in your day-to-day activities, so that your skill building is also happening. So maybe after a year or so, using all the skills you have acquired over the past 1 or 2 years, maybe you can be matched to a higher level profile or move a scale up in your career. So this is how technology has been used in onboarding and e-learning. And as I told, collaboration and all that. Earlier, it was physical office spaces, we can see each other's faces, teammates and all that, what kind of work they're putting in and how the meetings are happening. Now with the collaboration softwares and all that, we can able to track the number of hours put in by the employees and the teammates and all that. And we get a weekly chart or a monthly chart. Then we try to understand whether the employee is overworking or underutilized, or maybe the time can go elsewhere. Or maybe I take a small example, maybe one of my teammates is spending 10 to 12 hours in a week fixing a newsletter, which is an employee communication, which is a newsletter. So 7 to 8 hours is more. What I feel or I can use the person's capabilities elsewhere. Maybe I can put him or her elsewhere, and I can accordingly manage and all that. So earlier, this kind of tracking was not possible. So चलता है अच्छा इसने एक वीक में इतना काम किया इतना हुआ है, how to leverage the potential and all that. Now I have all the things in a graphical representation, so I can see, okay, my team members are effectively utilizing the time, and I can strengthen my team with so many other activities. So virtual onboarding, learning, and collaboration. So these are the major things in the technological space which are helping companies to move ahead.
I think that's an excellent summary of how technology is going to shape up the future of work. And I think it covers all the, Professor Soma is here, is going to tell us that this is going to cover the entire engagement profile of future of work, how people work, right from onboarding to training and on to performance evaluation and stuff like that, and how technology will play. We exactly have 10 minutes remaining now. I promised the team that I'm going to stop speaking and then we'll take Q&A exactly from 5:30 onwards. So I've got exactly 10 minutes remaining. I've got 4 panelists, and now we'll have to actually use only 2 minutes to make our point. And the last 3 speakers, I mean, all 4 of you have spoken about how individuals would become so much more important. How going forward, the future of work is going to be more individual in nature. Why each individual plays a pivotal role for organization, for industry in general. So my question or the comment that I would want to, or my point of view now is, what role would this passion and individual interest play in the future of work? Do you see the agency of individual playing an important role going forward, or is it going to be? See, one of the trends we are seeing is that technology is going to become important, but I think could there be a counter-interactive force, a counteractive force of individuality or passion of individual, the passion economy as we call it, which can shape the future of work? Chandan spoke about it. I think Sashank also spoke about it as to how people would want to be more contractual. They would want to do work when they want to, in the place that they want to, and then rest of the time I want to take a break. I don't want to be a standard employee. So going forward, this non-standard, passion-driven, gig kind of contractual employee, what do you see the role there? And let me quickly go to Sandeep first and ask him to share his views on this.
Yes, sir. As a lot of people are losing their jobs, and companies are not making that sort of money to really keep such big teams. So the companies have to innovate as well as an individual. They have to innovate themselves. They have to figure out new ways of how to cope up with the situation and how to keep their jobs secure. Because job security is one of the important aspects right now. I've seen a lot of people losing their jobs, and then a lot of people are even earning. They are ready to take up jobs even 30-40% lesser than their previous packages. So a lot of challenges are there. So as an individual, one has to definitely think about how he can keep his job secure, and what all is required to keep that job secure is what he has to think. And yes, as companies are now, definitely they will look forward for not for fixed employment, they will go for contractual employment because it will save them some cost, as well as it is good for an individual also. Like somebody in a 9 to 5 job, you cannot do many things. You can just only work for the organization. So if lot of people have a lot of different skill sets, so they might take up contractual job where they can utilize their skill sets. They can go and work in other places as well. Simultaneously, they can do the job. So overall, yeah, it will definitely it will become more. The contractual job industry will definitely grow. But at the end of the day, sir, you have to face it, and whatever technology is available, whatever ideas you have, because previously we used to meet friends in the office, we used to meet our colleagues, we used to discuss our problems, we used to we used to get some sympathy, some sort of advice. But now that is not there. The interaction has gone. Everybody is scared. Everybody is sitting at home, not coming out, not moving out that freely. So that challenge is there. So we have to cope up with our, we have to maintain the motivation level. We have to maintain the same pace, and we have to keep our jobs secure. We have to generate revenue for the company or for the customers. So yeah, and sir, I do bit of writing, so I'll just say 2 lines in Hindi, that जिसको संघर्ष में भी हर्ष होता है, उसी को ही सफलता का स्पर्श मिलता है. तो संघर्ष में भी हर्ष करना है, sir. We need to be happy. We need to be motivated. That's it, sir. Thank you.
I think that's an excellent line, and for these difficult times, I mean, these are lines like this and thoughts like this, Sandeep, which help us to survive and be ready for whatever is going to come. We'll take it. Like in sports, we said, "Oh, chin up." You get a hit, you go down, you get up, dust off, and you're back into action. I'm so glad that you brought it up. Thank you very much for this. But interesting thing. I know, I also write a newsletter. I'm not a poet, but I write a newsletter. And one of the things I brought up was this idea that this pandemic has brought out the inner creativity in us as well. And we have seen a lot of people who have said, do I want to do this 9 to 5 job all my life? No, I would rather be a chef or a creative person. Or let me have my own independent public speaking performance, or let it be a stand-up comedian. And we have seen this passion coming out and people saying, I want to do what I like now. And of course, you can still make money out of it, maybe lesser, but at least you would love what you're doing. And this is what I thought is so great about this passion and how people are seeing work not to earn money, but to make a life. Okay, so work is no more about earning money. It is about leading a life that you sort of love and are satisfied with it. Okay, let me go to Chandan. Chandan is smiling about it. So let me ask him what are his thoughts about role of passion in the future of work.
I think what we look at even in our organization is that we try to we try to find the right set of skills and the passion. We try to marry that always in the organization, and we try to even see if the person is interested in doing something else. We try to look for helping him do that, and that we call it as personal entrepreneurship. I think that is something that is already there in our organization. We want to inculcate that, and definitely I think this will give us more means to do it. In fact, if I look at it from the regulation perspective, I think government has already taken the step, making the first announcement that, okay, working from home is legally possible. I think that's a very important step from the legal standpoint. So in the future, you can expect that, okay, if you look at, I'm not just looking at the industry as a whole. When I look at the industry as a whole, we are experts in the IT industry. We are experts in process optimization. We started off with on-site offshore model, then we went into nearshore models. Now, if you look at it, it is going to mix work from anywhere into this, delivery mechanism. How do we mix work from anywhere along with the delivery mechanisms and the best practices that we have already built, so that people in the organization can do not only what they like to do in terms of, okay, and then probably even add in terms of passion. Maybe somebody could be a travel blogger and he could be traveling all through the year just while combining the jobs. So maybe that is the future. We never know. And that's already possible in countries like Europe. And why not in India? So I look at it more like that.
Okay. Great. Raja?
Yeah. Hi. So as other panelists spoke, now it is kind of important to have a secondary skill set or a tertiary skill set. Like if you are a music player, you want to play a musical instrument, or like if you are a marketeer and you like video editing, or playing with videos and all that. So we have to ensure how your secondary or tertiary skill set can be combined with your primary skill set, which is your career right now. Nobody knows your secondary or tertiary thing can become your primary thing in the future. I picked this art of editing videos or understanding the ecosystem of videos and all that from the last year, because I work with a lot of video editors and agencies because of my marketing role and all that. Now I picked a bit of editing, and now as my regular deliverables, I also handle the audio visual communication in my company. A part of it, I manage that. So as a kind of a small interest, it evolved into a career, or maybe down the line, 2 to 3 years, I can completely go into a full-fledged video production mode or something. Because something starts really small and it evolves into something big. And the pandemic caused too much intervention of technology and the learning modules and all that. We are very much there. And one piece of advice to students is try to identify your secondary skill or tertiary skill, or where you can excel. In my couple of days, I interacted with the batch of corporate communications, secondary students who pick corporate communications. I told them to go to blogging, writing, so which very much helps in your career and all that. So pick your skill. Maybe you can start with video editing or the resume, how creatively you can make your resumes and all that. If you look at the resumes which we get, or every company gets, people are trying to be more creative. The standard text they're making in the form of an infographic. a graphic and all that. So explore tools like Canva and other freely available open source softwares. How can you build like wonderful resumes and all that, or how can you design, or how can you add an element of design, or how you can imbibe that design thinking principles in your processes and day-to-day operations. So this kind of secondary approach and having the passion in your career and a different kind of approach will very well help you in your career.
Thank you. I think this is another wonderful primary skills, secondary skills, and tertiary skills, and how you could turn your passion into your work itself. Ashad, 2 minutes for you as well now.
Yes, sir. Definitely. My concept is little different here. I would say we will go with this question and answer because my concept here may not work what we were talking about from an individual perspective. So my idea is that let's go ahead with question and answer, and maybe I will answer those questions there if that is okay with you.
That's perfectly fine. And thank you very much for this. Now I can go back to the ARC team and say, boss, we finished the actual panel discussion exactly in 90 minutes. And now we would get on to, that's a good thing. Sandeep was talking about that you can't be late in today's days because you were offline only. Why were you late? Why did you extend the session? Good stuff. Thank you very much, panelists, for all these wonderful thoughts. We have collected few questions. I think Aditi, Faridhi, and others have been looking at questions which are coming through our YouTube channel as well as questions which have been sent in advance. I'm going to pick on one and then. Okay, let's start with the thing that. And I'll start with Shashank here. Shashank, what are the questions which are popping up with? What are the, this is from, Aditi only has put up this question. What are the main or new leadership skills which are required for this world of work? What are the new skills or what are the main skills which are required because of pandemic, fashion economy and technology in the world of work, in the future of work?
The most important, away from the first point that I'm saying is adaptability and flexibility is one very, very important skill. Organization want you to adapt on whatever they wanted you to work, basically. Any organization, any entrepreneur or any leader, if you become a leader, you also expect my team member to work the way I want it. So you work on that particular thing, that think of what the person wants, change it. Apart from that, it all depends on which field you are from. Let us say if you're from a marketing field, how well you can actually start working on taking Zoom calls, taking like the way Samir told earlier in such a way, Sandeep told earlier in such a way that the sales is something where it has changed completely, where we were having face-to-face meeting. Today we are talking about a meeting over a virtual floor. So how could you build relationship over a virtual world? That is very, very important. So your virtual skills plays very, very vital role today in any concept. My virtual technology means if I'm taking a Zoom call, if I'm doing a small discussion over a virtual meeting, if I do small talk over that, how would I start my sales call? How would I generate leads over virtual? All that plays a very vital role. If you're from a marketing or a sales background, if you come from an HR background, how would you work on that work from home skills, basically? How would you do that? How do you motivate your employees in various other fields in terms of work from home, in terms of flexibility given to the employees, in terms of timeline that you are taking that from the employees? So every aspect, which aspect that you wanted to go, the skills changes. But a common skill that we are talking about is adaptability and flexibility in today's world, and knowing a lot of digitalization. When I use the word digitalization, knowing what are the end technologies which are happening for your field, and how can I know that technology very well? How can I know how to use that technology very well? I'm not talking about coding at all. I'm not a coder, I'm a commerce graduate, but I know almost more than 25 plus technologies which I can use it without any help required from anyone. Whether you talk about video editing, whether you are from a marketing perspective, whether you talk about e-learning, whether you talk about using learning management system, that is LMS, these are all end users. So you should start learning those. How to use Excel, Word itself. I will tell you, 95% of MBA graduate working in a big organization still do not know how to use Word or Excel properly. Even the PowerPoint, I'll tell you that the design is very, very. I get a lot of requirement only to make sure that they redesign the PowerPoint presentation very well. writing blogs, very, very, very important today. Writing articles. When I use the word writing articles, writing blogs, I'll tell you, a lot of people started working on personal branding. I don't know whether you understand the meaning of personal branding. I want to brand myself on platform like LinkedIn. I am talking from a corporate perspective, not Twitter, not Facebook. Facebook, Instagram is old. Oh, Insta is still okay. Depends on which company which thing that you wanted to market. But LinkedIn, how do you personal brand yourself? You see a lot of LinkedIn people get more than 1,000 likes, 500 likes on LinkedIn. So that is what personal branding comes into the picture. You have to write articles, design those infographic images. Like the way today I see there was an image which was shared by our team, designing those images properly and then distributing it across the thing so that you can brand yourself. All that skills plays a very vital role. You have to understand which field you are and what people want from my field. Learn that skill. Immediately, don't wait for the time you get into the placements and get into the job. By the time you should get into the job, you should be ready with those skills.
Okay, Chandan, quick thoughts on?
For me, I think the main important part of the whole learning is, in fact, being very open to.
Yeah, there's some echo maybe perhaps.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's the openness to learn. I think that is a very important part of the whole journey. If you're open to learn, I think things will continue to change. See, as I told earlier also, I think this is not going to be the last crisis that will hit us. So there is going to be future crises as well, and of different nature. So if you're not open to learning and learning all across, then it will not work out for anyone. So it's always going to be that you continue to pick up new skills as you go along. It's not that you did your graduation and things are over and you are there in the corporate job for the rest of the life. It doesn't work like that anymore. And especially in the area of technology, it's a very fast changing world. So we really are looking for people who are really updated in terms of both technical skills as well as ability to connect is also getting more and more important, because you are able to connect and collaborate very well. Then only you are able to deliver products which are very intuitive in nature, because today's world is also about bringing intuition into the technology part of it, so that a layman can really use the technology.
Raja, what do you think?
I just want to add one line to this. Now, the skills which are more required for everyone are the people skills. Like, how do you understand how do you understand people in a better way in an online environment? Your teammates, your clients, and your manager or your boss, your juniors, and everyone. I think like you already you already suggested a course like how to understand the room and all that. So those kind of courses like will be very much important in forthcoming days. So like we don't know like exactly what the other individual is facing or going through at the moment. Like though the person is working from home, what exactly is on his or her mind and what are the problems and challenges and all that. It being a physical environment and a physical space, we used to have some interactions, meetings, and a kind of an engagement and a motivation thing and all that. Now things have become virtual, so you have to understand the nuances, like how you manage people, how do you work with them in a better way, and ensure that the businesses are running successfully. So apart from all the other skills which are told by the panelists, I feel people skills will be paramount in the coming days in this environment.
Sandeep, your thoughts about what are the skills required in this new world of work? The future of work would demand what kind of skills?
Sir, as Shashank and Raja suggested, and even Chandan sir has suggested about usage and learning new technologies, basically upgrading your skill set. So it depends on what type of job you are in, what domain you are in, and suppose you are in banking or insurance or telecom or say government sector or any other sector, education or manufacturing. So you have to gauge that what skill set is required, like what is the challenge right now, how I can reduce this challenge, how I can solve my problem, what all skill set is required, how many things I can learn, and how I can apply them in my day-to-day business and day-to-day professional life. And sir, as Raja suggested that the skill set, I mean, we need to as in investment, we normally say that don't keep your everything in one basket. So I would like to suggest all the students that please learn and please follow your passion. Like if somebody is a guitarist or somebody is a dancer or somebody is a good sportsman, you should follow your passion. You can generate revenue out of it. I'll give you my example. I'm not a big person, but I love writing, and sir, I've written 2 movie scripts and I made some money out of it. I mean, they are about to release. So follow your passion, and you can make a career out of it. And so don't get scared of that job is the only way I can survive. No, you can survive in lot many ways. I mean, there are a lot of careers, there are a lot of options in life, and now people, because of corona, people are now into quite into online learning. So you can create your own online learning courses, you can create your own mobile apps, you can create a lot of things. And technology is not that costly right now. I can help them in making new mobile apps. I have a lot of technology companies whom I work with. So follow your passion. एंड सर लाइक इन हिंदी व्हाट आई से इज जिसको इल्म होता है उस पे कोई जुल्म नहीं कर सकता है सर. तो यू नीड टू मेक सम स्किल. आई मीन इल्म लाना है जिंदगी में, डेफिनेटली आप पे जिंदगी में कोई जुल्म नहीं कर सकता है सर.
बहुत सही,
थैंक यू सर.
संदीप जी, अगर वो फिल्म की स्क्रिप्ट हिंदी में लिखी है तो आप मुझे भेजिएगा. मैं हिंदी तो पढ़ सकते हैं, अच्छा अंग्रेजी में हाँ थोड़ा तंग है, पर हिंदी तो पढ़ सकते हैं, पढ़ भी सकते हैं, समझ भी सकते हैं.
श्योर सर, श्योर सर.
I have got series of questions, and I'm going to combine them together so that we have time for maybe 2 more questions. But let me combine few questions here. So I've got Ankit, who is batch of 2020, and Sudhanshu also is from batch of 2019, and they're talking about this idea that how do we improve? I mean, I know you guys have spoken about it, but we would want to have. These are younger people. I mean, so could you have very practical tips about how people can improve for the future of work? That is one set of questions which is coming from Sudhanshu. But along with it, Ankit is also asking another question. Ankit is from batch of 2020. He's saying that this idea of personal touch is missing. Now, how do we? I mean, if you have worked in industry for 15 years, you can read people's faces. But rest all like us would need to be in physical space to be able to do that. So this personal touch is missing. How do we compensate for that? And they would want to have very practical tips. How are you doing it? Share your magic formula. How are you doing it? What is your magic formula? If you could share that. And let me go to Chandan first this time. Chandan, you will have to share one part of your magic formula with our students here.
I think if I have to just look at it from a leader's perspective also, I think COVID-19 was a big challenge for leadership as well. Because leaders their connect with the people is paramount in terms of how they understand the organization, how they can motivate and connect with everybody, every co-worker in the organization. So I think it is if you have to really work on it, if you have to really transform yourself, I think the only thing is look at what are the possibilities, because you are confined to a certain situation. So you have certain set of tools and certain set of skills. So you are having these 2 things and see what is the best you can do out of it. One of the most important things that you can look at is, in fact, just for yourself, evaluate yourself first in terms of what are the possibilities that you can bring in terms of learning new things or in terms of connecting with other people. There must be multiple ways of doing it. When we went into the virtual mode, I think the first thing that we looked at was, for example, have a connect sessions with the shop with the complete floor for every couple of weeks, because we used to do that, but it was all in the physical mode. But now that's not possible. So that is one thing that we did. And then personal connect one-to-one is also required. So it's not always necessary that you have to connect on a regular forum, because that makes transaction very, very rigid in nature. But if you can have some kind of connect meetings with people in an offline mode, that would be one of the biggest way to ensure that you understand the other person better.
Yeah, Raja.
Uh, Hi. Thanks, Chandan, for bringing that personal connecting. I just wanted to emphasize that. So, I don't call it as a magic formula, but what I normally do in my team calls and all these meetings is I never start with the business or the discussion points like as they say, read your customer, know your customer, and all that. So it's like a know your teammate or the know your manager and all that at a personal level. What are his interests, what are her problem areas and all that. So maybe initial 2 to 3 minutes we spend on maybe a kind of a chit chat, what is a new movie on Netflix, or what is a serious issue faced in a day-to-day activity, or how the kids and all that, so that we try to settle in and ensure that people are relaxed, and then we start the business and all that. So it's like understanding people and ensuring that okay, there is somebody at the other end who is willing to listen to your side of the story, and who is more empathetic towards you and all that. So this gives a very good environment. So for students like who may be a sales personnel or marketeers or human resource professionals and all that. So my one piece of suggestion is that try to understand the other person, and try to slip into the shoes and understand, and then you can start your day-to-day work and all that. So again, Shailendra sir, your concept of knowing the room and all that, I don't know, this is like coming quite often here. So putting the other person at ease, and then you roll your dice. It's all about that.
Shashank, no, sorry, Shashank, if you're here, Shashank.
I'm there. Right. Initially I told one very important thing was the golden rule and platinum rule. And I want everyone here who are there to remember this golden rule and platinum rule. I was taught by my parents that treat others the way you want to be treated. आप सबको उस तरह से treat करिए जैसे आप चाहते हो अपने आप को treat करने के लिए. The rule has changed completely today. It's all about platinum rule. Customize your treatment. If someone comes at your house and they wanted water, you give them a water. But if they wanted cold drink, you give them cold drink. And if they wanted biryani, you give them biryani. Just don't give, because you wanted water, don't give water to everyone. So the rule has changed, and this is what the personalization is. We need to work on. Work on platinum rule. Customize your treatment with everyone. Understand what they want, like the way Raja told about a few minutes before. That personalization is very, very important. Understand KYC. It's not about KYC now. It's all about KY everyone. So KYC is they're talking about know everyone and treat others the way you can, like, behave personally. It's what you need to work on and take it ahead from here.
Sandeep, what's the magic formula? Especially for the sales guys, what is the magic formula you want to share?
Sir, there is no as such any magic formula, but what I would like to suggest is...
There is a magic formula, we all know that. There is a magic formula, you don't want to share it. That is how they'll see it.
So whatever little I know is we should have gratitude towards life, sir, first of all. We should not get panicked, and we should not get frustrated that why I'm not getting success in life, why I'm not getting this, why I'm not getting that, because lakhs of crores of people are not able to even eat two meals a day. So we should have gratitude towards life. This is what I believe in, and the day I started believing like this, my life has changed, sir. Because previously I also used to crib, that why I'm not having this, why I'm not having my other friends are doing well in life and I'm not able to do. But then suddenly, I read some books and all, and I came to know that you should have gratitude towards life. That is first. Second is you should be healthy, sir. You should do workout, you should do dieting, you should keep yourself fit, because that is important. That will take you to, better places in life. Third is upgrade yourself. And create some hobbies. Like in Corona, I have learned how to cook. Now I can cook dal, rotis, and all that. So in my entire 40, I'm now 40-year-old. So in 40 years, I didn't know anything other than making tea. So now I know, at least if I lose my business, I can start a restaurant and I can say Sandida Dhaba or something, and I can create some business out of it. And
good one.
So fourth is about, sir, understanding, as everybody, Shashank and Raja has said, and even Chandan sir has spoken about, understanding others is what, like KYE is what Shashank has mentioned. Understanding others is very important, sir, because as technology is advancing, people are getting more, disposable incomes. People are getting more kind of, social success. Ego is going up, sir. So you need to ensure that you maintain some decorum and some sort of, humbleness to keep the egos of people. You have to understand them. And as Shashank mentioned, that if somebody comes to your house, you give them cool drink. If he wants cool drink, you don't give him water because you want to give him water. So it's a two way thing, sir. Like, I need respect, I have to give respect. And most importantly is, don't get scared of the challenges. Don't be fear be you know I mean, fearless, and go ahead. Challenges are there. I never imagined corona will come, but it came into everybody's life. So maybe in future some other challenge will come. We need to be always motivated, and keep yourself healthy. Have gratitude towards your parents, towards your friends, towards your colleagues, towards your teachers, towards your everybody, because they are the people who make you what you are. Because individual cannot become something on his own. It's parents, friends, colleagues, teachers, professors. Everybody helps us to, really make a certain amount of personality. So yes, sir. Be healthy. Follow your passion. And as far as sales marketing is concerned, I can give them, anytime tips. I'm always available for them. And even Shashank can help them. Raja can help them. Chandan sir can help them. So this is what I want to say, sir.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. I think that's very inspiring.
I want to add one thing here, sir. Maybe if you can give me 2 minutes time, which I follow it very rigorously because I do sales. An entrepreneur, every entrepreneur have to start with sales at a very small level, at a very big level. But one thing that I always followed, which I want the whole IBS to learn this thing. I'm very proud of that. That I don't try to sell. First thing is that I don't try to sell anything. I just offer something which they want. Remember this, they offer something which they wanted, and treat that this offer is something which, there are lots of people who are offering them, and give them a choice to purchase from where they wish to. But your offer should be something. When I use the word offer, I'm not talking about sale offer. कि एक पे free मिलेगा. Your offer should be something कि सर ये मेरे पास मिलेगा, मैं उसे महंगा भी बेचूंगा, लेकिन मेरे पास मिलेगा, लेकिन मेरी सर्विस आपको 10 लोगों से अच्छी रहेगी. Offer it in that particular way. Have that ego of that offer. जब आप ऑफर कर रहे हो, एक ईगो रखिए कि सर मेरे पास मिलेगा, और वो ट्रस्ट रहना चाहिए अपने आप ट्रस्ट बिल्ड करिए क्लाइंट के ऊपर कि yes, they cannot get this particular offer from somewhere else. Second thing is that don't try to over follow in sales. The more you try to over follow morning, afternoon, evening, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you are losing your sales there. Give them 2 days, 3 days time. Offer 1 or 2 maximum follow up. But when you are pitching that particular point, this is what I am offering. You should create that trust by that period of time that yeah, when I offer this particular thing, you will not get it anywhere else. And be demanding, because someone who wants to purchase, उनको भी खरीदना है, उनके बेनिफिट के लिए भी है, या आपके सिर्फ बेनिफिट के लिए नहीं है. ये समझिए सेल्स में. Sales is a two-way process. It's not one-way process. We are not taking fool of others. मैं बहुत बार सुनता हूँ सेल्स में that people use a wrong language, and I feel very very bad कि हमने सामने वाले को पकड़ा है, किसको बनाया है. I don't want to use those language here, but this is something which is wrong. You should trust your product, trust your services, and then go ahead. I remember I sold when I was doing when I was part of IBS Hyderabad. I used to sell correspondence courses of IBS. We used to call it stipendary assignment program (SAP). And during that period of time, for 2 years, I have sold more than 5 lakhs rupees worth product only because I was trusting the product. I am studying in IBS. So I have trust in IBS, and that is why I am selling the correspondence courses of IBS. That was the trust that I have built, and that is the reason I tried selling, and I never followed up my customer. I remember that the second person, I was the first person who was leading in the whole IBS Hyderabad, not only IBS Hyderabad, a complete IBS across India, and the second best was somewhere around 2.5 lakhs. So that was the difference between the first contender and the second contender. And by the time I was out of the college, I negotiated my placement with the college, with the company, saying that if you wanted to hire me, this is the minimum thing that I would take away, because this is what I have done for even when I did it part time. Of course, the trust factor बहुत important है. आप जो भी product बेच रहे हो, कर रहे हो, और आपको trust करना है, और आपको very important, and I have done throughout my career. I have been doing sales since 2004, before my MBA, after my MBA, until today I am doing sales. I always command when I do sales. I say कि आपको लेना है आपके भी benefit के लिए. This is not only for my benefit. So it's a mutual consent always in sales. This is one thing I want everyone in sales to work on it. And I tell this in all my sales training program. Just don't try to do sales for the sake of selling. आपको उस पे पहले भरोसा करिए फिर बेचिए. आप पक्का बिकेगा. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and thank you for bringing that experience back. I think we are at the end of the time which was allocated to us, and I know my friends Annie and Nisha are waiting for us to sort of stop, and then they could conclude the event. I just want to let me start by practicing what Sandeep had just asked us to do. Thank you very much. My gratitude for all the guests here and all the students and everybody who's on the YouTube stream and Facebook stream for being here at this particular event. Heartfelt gratitude for that. I think the future of work for all of us is bright. Okay, we should be thankful for all the resources which are available to us. Thankful for the entire ecosystem which is behind us. I think if we just follow our passion, we would do extremely well in our future. And technology, like I said, and everybody has sort of remarked on that point, is going to be a great enabler. We need to have technology on our side. So technology would be like the force behind us, but what is going to guide us is our passion. So if you want to be somebody in this future of work, you should have technology behind which is going to guide you, and technology in front of you to guide you, and right behind you, like they say in your sales, you have your passion. And if that is what is happening, I think all of us would be in really, really good places. And like I said, thank you very much for giving this opportunity, Team ARC. Over to you, Annie and Nisha.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, panelists. It does not matter where you go and what you do. In the end, what matters the most is how we bind ourselves to our roots. As we come to the end of this insightful journey, I, Nisha Kalanti, on behalf of Alumni Relations Cell, IPS Hyderabad, feel extremely obliged to our Dean, Professor Sherijan, whose constant support has been invaluable to us, our mentor, Professor Mahesh Kumar Soma, for always motivating us to do better. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our panelists, Mr. Raja Satish, Mr. Sandeep Mishra, Mr. Shashank Malpani, and Mr. Chandan Singh Gupta for spending their precious time with us and imparting some valuable knowledge. I would also like to thank Professor Shailendra Bisht for moderating and guiding us throughout the event. This event would not have been possible without our beloved faculty members and my dear friends who graced this occasion with their presence. We are too overwhelmed by the response that we have received from your end for Conflux 2020. Thank you for investing your time with us and for making this event a huge success. We also extend our gratitude to Team Newswire, our coverage partner for the event. We look forward to everyone's continued support always. Lastly, I would like to say, have a great day ahead and always stay connected, because in the end, it's all about connections. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. As she rightly said, that it's all about connections. So, I would like to add that there is no work better than network. So, keep on networking with people. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Team ARC and everyone else for this wonderful session and wonderful event. Hope to see you in more such events in the future. And thanks a lot. And it was really wonderful interacting with the amazing panelists and professor and also the students. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I would also like to really extend my thanks. I think it was a really wonderful event, and I think very well organized as well. I think Team ARC has done a wonderful job. It's really very, very professionally done. So thank you once again for doing it in such a wonderful way.
Thank you guys. Thanks ARC team. Really appreciate your efforts. And I really enjoyed being here since last 2 hours, listening to the other panelists and also answering your questions. I hope we could do justice to whatever it was requested. And I really appreciate the whole team, not only the ARC, the participants also for being here and listening to what we were talking on COVID, post-COVID era.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. If you have more doubts, you can contact us through LinkedIn and or other social media channels. So thanks a lot. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, from my behalf, I also thank Mr. Chandan, Sandeep, Shashank, Raja, and also Professor Shailendra Bis for excellently moderating this session. I thought I would just log in for 5-10 minutes and then I'll do my work, but then I was so impressed, I was so enthralled by the discussion that I was there all through the discussion, listening to the wonderful points and those things. Now we are facing so much of thing. We are going to the new normal. Now we are talking about the new generation. Gen S, generation of solvers. They will solve their own problems. I don't know whether that concept has been totally accepted or not. Now people are talking about generation S, X, Y, Z. Now we have moved to S, solvers. Yeah, it was great discussion. Thank you all. I appreciate Pridhi and the entire team of ARC for organizing this event. It was great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.